Hello and welcome to today's office hours presentation. This is Paul Hoyt. Our office hours presentation is a relaxed, informal mentoring program that we do almost every Monday at noon Pacific time. All these recordings, slides, and exercises will be archived in our members area, and the recordings are available for now on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/Paul Hoyt. The reason we do these office hours presentations is because being a successful small business owner can be a fantastic experience, but it is tough. You really do need the education, training, tools, and team to be successful. And we want you to get to know us because when you do, you'll know that we really do care about you. We want you to succeed in every area of your life, whatever that means to you. We want you to find the greatness, the happiness, the divinity within yourself, and then remember it, embrace it, and live it every single day as we do. Our passion is to increase the survival rate, accelerate the growth rate, and reduce the struggle rate of businesses in America. And our vision is to help millions of CEOs and entrepreneurs accelerate their business growth and enjoy greater harmony and balance in their lives. If you find that our approach is valuable to you, if you find that these office hours presentations are valuable to you, we strongly encourage you to pass the word to anyone that you know is also a CEO, an entrepreneur, or a business owner, and talk to them about the resource that we have in the office hours presentations. It's always free to sign up and attend and join us live. Our agenda with our office hours presentations is that we have an in-depth discussion of a business success principle, offer some closing remarks, special offers, and an invitation for next week's session, and then we go into questions and answers and coaching. So as we do the presentation today, make a little note. If you've got a question or a discussion topic that you would like for us to address, we usually take questions that are related to the subject matter of the day first, and then we open it up for anything. Also encourage you to join us in the Awakened CEO communities on both LinkedIn and Facebook, where we publish a business success principle of the day on both of those communities. And we do an energy of the day posting every day on Facebook for the last 599 days in a row. Tomorrow is number 600. For the last 599 days in a row, I've gotten up and in the first thing in the morning gone to post a little inspirational message around a word that I find particularly inspirational or meaningful to me. I hope that you have enjoyed those too. During our call today, make comments and ask questions and share insights and takeaways in the Facebook Awakened CEO community. And our goal is to get 20 comments and likes in our Facebook group. Also want to invite you to our next Awakened CEO conversation, which will be an interactive webinar with special guests a week from Wednesday, July the 22nd at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Watch your emails for sign-up information. These office hours presentations are primarily about business growth and professional growth. The Awakened CEO conversations are primarily about personal growth and spiritual growth. And we invite you to attend those webinars and listen to those recordings as well. Today's topic is on sales scripting, developing and honing your sales conversations with our guest presenter, Stephanie May, and I'll introduce Stephanie in just a minute. As always, we relate the subject matter of the office hours presentation to one or more of the key performance areas of success, and this one's all about sales. It's always all about helping you be more successful, helping you have more confidence in the area of sales, which I think is one of the top 3 most important key performance areas, leadership being the first most important, and sales and delivery being equally important on that second level. So this is one of the primary things that you have to do as a CEO is get good at sales, and we're very optimistic and confident that today's presentation will help you do exactly that. The Awakened CEO system is about mindset, methods, and momentum because it takes all 3 of those in order for you to be successful in business. It takes a great attitude and a great perspective, and that's your mindset. It takes great plans, processes, and procedures, and that's about your methods. And it takes great momentum, getting into action and having sustained action to accelerate your velocity and accelerate the size of your company so you can have a momentum maintained at your company. And today's presentation is all about methods. It's about how you do things. It's about creating plans and practicing and honing your techniques and skills so that you can get into momentum quicker and quicker and quicker. Our guest presenter today is Stephanie May, who's worked with me here at the Hoyt Management Group for the last year or so. She has a particular expertise when it comes to sales and sales training and sales scripting and a lot of aspects of marketing. Has really been a valuable member of my team now for the last year or so. She raised her hand up a little while ago and said, hey, I would like to do one of these office hours presentations, and today's the day she gets a chance to do that. Stephanie has been a serial entrepreneur. I've known her now for, 10 or 11 years. She has over 35 years of experience in expertise in business operations, strategic planning, sales and marketing funnels, and event management and event production. She's also an author and a writer and an implementation specialist. So with that, at that introduction, I'm going to turn it over to Stephanie. And Stephanie, I'm going to make you, I'm going to let you be, how do I give the keyboard and mouse to you? Because I want you to run your own presentation. I just did, so you should be able to move the presentation forward from this point in time.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Thank you for that introduction. That was very nice. I have been working with Paul for over a year now, and I actually met him at a CEO space more than 10 years ago. So it's been a beautiful relationship. He's helped me with many of the businesses that I started in the past. I had a franchise down in San Jose that he helped me with, and if I'd paid more attention to his numbers, hint, hint, I would have saved myself a heck of a lot of money and a heck of a lot of stress. Anyway, let's get started. Okay, there we go. So today we just really want to talk about sales scripting. Not going to go too much into what is sales and all that about sales, but I find that the script is basically just a documented sales conversation. So that's how we're going to get started here. The agenda is scripts and a starting point. We're going to talk about the sales circle. We're going to talk about the phases of a script and go into a little bit more detail of that for you so that you can get started on your own. We're going to talk about some tips for success, and we're going to talk about what next, how to put all of this into action for yourself, start getting some new results. All right. The sales script. Sales is really about relationships. I'm probably not telling you anything that you don't already know. Sales is about sharing from the heart. It's about coming from service, and I really want to repeat that again, because when you come from the heart, when you come from a place of service, your conversations take a much more deeper, they have a deeper meaning. You go into a different realm. It's a different conversation. It's a different relationship. It's all about it's about coming from that place of service, your soul, coming from your heart, right? The heart-centered relationships are much more productive, much more meaningful than relationships where we're just talking about the basketball game that we saw last night. And scripts are really just about those conversations and about documenting them. That's all they are. They're just basically a documented conversation. And whatever resistance or whatever preconceptions you have about those sales scripts, I invite you to let them go and look at it with a new, fresh perspective today. All right. I'm having problems getting this to move, Paul. Okay. So again, scripts are just a starting point. They're just a documented plan for your conversation. They are not set in stone. They basically outline the path of a conversation that you want to have with your prospect. So again, I find it very interesting how many people look at these sales scripts and look at the sales conversation as something to be feared and something to be to dislike and to really stress out about. Because again, sales are about relationships. It's about sitting down and having a conversation with somebody that you know you can truly help. If you believe in your product, if you believe in your service, and if you know that you have something that's so powerful, you can change somebody's life, remove a pain, help them solve a problem, why would you not want to share that conversation? one of my mentors actually used to say that by keeping quiet, by not sharing, you could be viewed as doing a disservice to that person, because you do have something that could help make their lives better, make a change for the better. So why would you not want to share that, right? So let go of any resistance that you have towards that scripting. Okay, let's keep going. And again, a script is, you want to make it your own. When you start with the script, it's just an outline, and I find that it takes a little bit of time, a little bit of practice, but you will begin to find the phrases that work best for you. You'll find the words that come from that authentic place. All right, let's keep going. All right. There are many different scripts that will lead your prospects down a path. There could be appointment setting scripts. There could be making the offer scripts. There could be testimonial scripts. You'll have story scripts. You'll have all kinds of different scripts. Now, you could use all these different scripts in one conversation. Some sales processes and some services and products require a staged approach, where you may have the same conversation with 3 or 4 levels of management, 3 or 4 levels of individuals who need to be okay with what you have to say before you move on to the next step. So you will have different scripts that you'll put together into your conversations, and again, it's all based on what your product is, what your service is, how that best works out for you. Okay? These scripts provide the framework for that successful and efficient conversation. How many times have you had a conversation with somebody and you're talking for an hour before you realize that your next appointment is in 5 minutes and you still have not even talked about the reason for your conversation to begin with? So a script helps you stay on track. It helps make sure that you're saying the things that you wanted to say. Your time is valuable. Your prospect's time is valuable. You want to make sure that you're keeping that conversation within the framework and the time frame that you have available. Your sales scripts, again, are about offering a solution to a problem. You want to make sure that you're offering the right solution. You want to make sure that you're talking about the right problem. And your sales script will help you do that, will help you stay on the right path, keep you going down the track that you want to go. Sales scripts require flexibility because, after all, it's just a framework, it's just a starting point. So you want to always keep in mind that this is just a plan, it's just the starting point, and stuff is going to happen. You may find that you're talking to the wrong person. You may find that their needs now have changed. Maybe they just had a major operational change in their business over the weekend, and now it's Monday. Everything that you had talked about last week is totally different. That's how business is. Your sales scripting and your conversations will need to be able to adapt to the ever-changing environment that businesses operate in. Okay. Sales script is just a support tool. You must know your products. All of your conversations are going to depend on that knowledge. You're going to want to be able to discuss the different options, the different what's available to you and to your prospects as you're going through that conversation. They are just a support tool. They are not the ends to, they're not the only ends to the mean, I should say. Okay. Now let's take a look at what the sales circle is, because to me the sales scripting is just really about documenting this process. All sales processes, all sales conversations start with trust and rapport. You want to begin to build that relationship. Again, sales is about relationships, and we start with building that trust and rapport. There's many ways to build that trust and rapport. We'll talk about that in a minute. Let's see, the second step is discovery. You're going to want to ask the questions, get in depth into the conversation to find out the likes and the dislikes of your prospects, their challenges, what makes them tick, what is giving them the success that they have, where are their challenges, where they need more help in getting the success that they need. So the discovery process is really where you get more than you ever wanted to know about your prospect. Then you'll move into the qualification stage. Is this prospect the right fit for you? Are you the right fit for them? Be honest. Be aware. Look for the signs. Listen to what your prospect is telling you. Then the process goes into the development stage. This is where you start talking about what you have to offer that can help them get rid of the pain that you just heard about in the discovery phase, right? This is where you give them back what they just told you what they need. Then you move into the agreements and the closing phase. This is where you start going over all the fine print, making sure that you're on the same page, addressing any remaining objections. Make sure that you and your client are moving forward in the same direction before you get all excited about that check that hasn't cleared yet, right? Then you want to move into referrals. Referrals are what I find to be one of our most underutilized tools of building our business. All businesses have successful and happy clients. Why would you not want to take those happy and successful clients and show them off to your new prospects? Help them achieve a higher level of success. Help showcase all of their success. It's a wonderful process and a beautiful way to grow your business. And then it all starts over again. Once you get those referrals, once you get happy and successful clients, you continue building that trust and rapport. You continue those relationship building steps because your old clients will become your new clients, right? It's much more efficient and effective to take a current client and make them repeat clients than it is to go out and get new ones. So it just makes sense that you want to take care of the clients that you have and keep them in your sales circle, keep in communication with them, and keep that process going. Okay, now let's go into a little bit more detail about what each one of these is. Let's start with trust and rapport. Okay. Sales is a relationship game. I'm going to keep saying that because it's so important that we get that. People buy from those they like and trust. Do you guys get that? People buy from those they like and trust. I want you to look at the individuals that you buy from. How do you feel when you go to a used car dealer and you're in conversation with somebody about a car? How do you feel when somebody calls you on the phone and has a conversation about selling their service? When you consider how it makes you feel, that puts you in a different, gives you that fresh perspective so that you know how people want to be talked to. People are a lot savvier than what many of us give them credit for. We don't want to be sold to. We don't like to be talked to condescendingly. So this is about building that relationship. Many ways of building trust and rapport. There are many, many ways of doing that. Some of the most common are to find commonalities. Oh, I grew up in Kansas City. I haven't been there for many years. What's going on there now? Last time I was there, they had the worst storm that they had in 30 years. How does that work, right? Begin with a compliment. I love to share the joy that I get when I compliment somebody. I love your shirt. I loved that presentation that I heard you say. I watched that YouTube video that you told me about, and it was awesome, and I learned so much. Compliments really begin to build that bridge and they really begin to solidify that bond that you need to move forward in the sales process. There's the form method. Form just means it's a way of building the trust and rapport. F means family. Chat about your family. Just recognize that family dynamics have changed a lot over the years, and you want to be inviting to share about their loved ones at home, or their kids, or their family unit. What have they got going on behind the scenes? The O stands for occupation. We all want to talk about our jobs. We all want to talk about what's going on. The R is for relationships. You want to talk about their relationships, your relationship, the relationships that they've got going on in their lives. And M stands for either message or momentum. What message are they trying to tell you? What message are you trying to help them with, right? However you do it, whatever process you work with when building trust and rapport, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is to be authentic. Again, you want to come from your heart. You want to come from a place of service. This is about building trust and rapport. This is about building a relationship. Relationships are built on trust and honesty. So you want to be authentic and honest about why you're calling. Now I want to talk about the best practices for trust and rapport. What does that mean when it comes to your scripting? How do you put all of that into practice? Now, I get asked a lot, how long does it take to build trust and rapport? And all I can tell you is it takes as long as it takes. Some people, when you first start chatting with them, you may feel like you've known this person for their entire life after you talk for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. Other people may take longer. Sometimes it takes several conversations. Sometimes it can take several months. Sometimes you'll have somebody in your database for 2 or 3 years, and all of a sudden you'll get a call from them saying, I've been listening to you, I've been watching you, I'm ready for more information, let's move forward. It just takes as long as it takes. Everybody's different. Just relax into the process, trust the process, and give your prospect and the people in your community that space that they need in order to move forward in trust. I say listen more than you talk. Do not do what I do and keep talking in this conversation. You want to invite your prospect to talk as much as they want to. Excuse me. We can learn so much when we listen. They'll tell you everything that you want to know. They'll tell you their pain. They'll talk about their challenges. Let them talk so that you can turn around and tell them how you can fix their pain. Honesty is the only way. Make sure when you call that you are clear about why you are calling, what you are calling for. Don't try to hide it. I can't tell you how many salespeople that I have hung up on who refuse to tell me why they're calling. Just be honest with me. If I'm not interested, I will tell you. If I'm interested, I'll tell you that too, and I'll invite you to tell me more. I always try to tell people that I'm calling to keep my commitment. You did ask me for some information. I wanted to make sure that I got that back with you and made sure that I give you that information. If this isn't the right time, I totally get it. Maybe something has happened. We don't know what's going on in people's lives. That's why I say be flexible. We all have a thing. We don't know if somebody has a parent with Alzheimer's at home, or somebody's kid just got sick, or we fell down and broke a leg over the weekend, or we just have so much going on, I'm in overwhelm today, and I know I said I was going to talk with you, but I just can't handle one more thing today. Whatever that is, be flexible, reschedule, give them the space that they need to take care of the urgency in their life, and they'll come back to you in a much more, when the timing is right. And when that timing is right, they will remember your flexibility. They'll remember that you cared enough about what they had going on that you were willing to come back at another time when it's better time for them. The next phase, the second phase, is the discovery phase. This is actually one of the most parts, or one of the my funnest pieces, I meant. Make your list, check it twice. I say that because typically when you are talking with the prospect, you want to get all of that information you need to move them forward in your sales process. So you might possibly have like literally 200 questions that you may need an answer to in order to make a decision as to what the right product is, what the right service is, what is the right thing to help them get the success that they need. Now, just because you have 200 questions that you have on your list, you most definitely will not have to ask all 200 of those questions. But if you ask the right questions and then just sit back and listen, again, we all like to talk. We will tell you what you want to hear. So stay alert. Listen to the answers, because the answers will point the way for the next piece in your sales conversation. They'll point the way for the information that your prospect needs to hear in your script. The whole truth, I say that because I feel that there are levels of trust, and that many of us don't provide the enough patience. We don't give our prospects enough time in order to share. Many times, I used to work for a financial educational company, and when we would have our strategy sessions, we would set the appointment, we'd get on the phone and get right into a whole lot of personal information about their finances. Now, I probably just I've only talked with this individual maybe once or twice, probably only for 5 or 10 minutes before we start getting into a whole lot of personal and intimate information. Now, I'm not saying that people lie, but I am saying that it takes time for us to build the trust that is needed in order to totally open up. Some people have no problem. They will tell you their entire lives in less than 1 minute and tell you more than what you wanted to know. Others just need time in order to feel that bond. So I just encourage you to recognize that it takes time to build these relationships. You might not be getting the whole story. You might have to dig a little bit, ask more questions, listen a little bit harder, provide a little bit more time in order to get the information that you need to move them properly through the funnel. We all want that safe space to share. We all want to really open up. I want to tell you the truth. I want to hear how you can help me, but I need to know that you're still going to respect me in the morning, as they say. So as a salesperson, we want to come from that place of service, be respectful of your prospects' needs, be respectful of their need for privacy, be respectful of whatever it is that they need so that they can feel safe enough to share. All right. Now, what does this mean as far as scripting goes? You want to be paired with all of the questions that you're going to ask. Again, you might not need them all, but you sure want to know what they are, because the right questions will tell you the right answers that you want to hear. You want to develop and use your systems, databases, Excel spreadsheet, Google Docs, whatever it is that you use in order to have your resources. Where are my list of questions? How am I going to keep track of the answers? How am I going to document what they tell me? And I urge you to recognize that consistency and continuity with your clients and your customers is a critical piece of your customer service needs. I can't tell you, and I'll bet that all of you have actually been through the same thing. How many times have you gotten on the phone and you're trying to talk about a problem with the customer service rep, and I've already had this conversation 3 times. Don't you guys write anything down? Aren't I in the database? Can't you tell what my problem is? It should be right there. So you might not be the only individual in conversation with these prospects. So having that information documented means that the person who comes after you, who might be working with you with the same client knows everything that's going on. Just it is the ultimate in customer service to keep track of all that so that they don't have to. That's our job, not our customer's job. The next phase in the system is the qualification. Now, part of the discovery phase is truly listening for the qualifiers. You're going to want to make sure that you have clarity on those qualifiers for yourself. Your target market. Is this person part of my target market? Does this person have the financial needs in order to move forward with my program? Do they have the expertise or experience needed in order to leverage what we have? Some companies have a series of products or services where you have to take product A before you can move forward with product B before you can go to target C. Maybe that's you, maybe not. Excuse me. Maybe one of your clients or your prospects might not have the finances for your high-level product, but they might have the finances for your lower entry funnel product. So you want to listen for what these qualifiers are so that you know what's the best path to take these your individuals during your conversations. Some companies, again, have those tiered product funnels. Some companies, one of the things that Paul and I do is we have customized solutions for some of our clients. They might have special needs, special products, special results, specific results that are needed in order to move forward with a certain investor or a certain project. Personal or business resources can be additional important qualifiers. Sometimes if you're a life coach or if you're in a coaching business or other industries like that, those resources can be important qualifiers before you move somebody down that path. Do you know who you're talking to? Are you talking to the decision maker? Do you know who you should be talking to? Maybe you're talking to Joe, but it's really Joe's boss, Aaron, that you need to talk with. Maybe both Joe and Aaron have to sign off on what you've got before you can move on to their boss. So the qualification process could be a stepped or a level process. In many of your very high dollar products and services, when you get into the very sophisticated type of sales processes, those qualification processes can be extremely sophisticated and lengthy as well. Know who the decision makers are. I've been on conversations before with my sales prospect and gone through the whole thing only to have them say, you know what, my wife really needs to be on the call, or my husband really needs to be on this call. So we're going to have to start all over again and reschedule and go through the whole thing all over again. Okay, well, maybe I didn't ask the right questions. Maybe I did not hear what she was trying to tell me way back when I was asking those questions and when I was listening during that trust and rapport building phase. Because if I had been listening or asking the right questions, maybe I would have heard that. Tiered authority, multiple presentations. Sometimes you will have to make the same presentation over and over and over again in order to gain consensus, in order to gain the approval to continue to move forward in a company's in their infrastructure. Sometimes that's just the way it is. Multiple opportunities for you to practice your scripting and your presentation. So be patient. Just recognize that it's up to you to keep your repeated conversations and presentations fresh. And practice, again, as I've told Paul, I keep a stuffed animal right over there in that chair where I talk to my teddy bear as often as I need to practice my conversation and to make sure that what I am saying is coming from a fresh perspective. None of us want to sound like we rehearsed this thing. You want to keep your appropriate versions of your script handy. If you are in conversation with somebody and now they say, you know what, I really need my boss on the call, let me go get him. If by chance you go from one conversation right into the other, you're going to want to make sure that you have that information handy when that conversation begins. Somebody's boss, that higher level, those additional questions and their needs and their objections may vary. So you just need to make sure that you have whatever information you need handy for those additional conversations. Okay. The different levels and the different resources, testimonials, product qualifiers, excuse me, all of those will vary as you move up the ladder, as you have your different conversations. And if you want to keep your conversations and your presentations fresh, stories and testimonials are a perfect way of doing that. Story sell, story sell, story sell. Did I say that? Story sell. So have your testimonials, have your stories. You know what? My client that I was working with last week, Sally, she was going through the same problem as you were, Joe, and we helped her do this, and now she's doing this, and she is experiencing success like she never thought she ever would again. So those kind of stories and testimonials will help, well, they just help. They'll help your sales, they'll help your results, they'll help your closing, they'll help everything. In your qualifications, when you are in conversation with more than one person, you want to make sure that as much as possible you schedule the next steps before completing the current one. I recommend that you not leave that appointment, you not get off that phone until you have that next appointment scheduled for that next step. Makes sense, right? It's much easier to get somebody to commit to the next step while you have them there than it is to play phone tag for 2 or 3 weeks after that appointment. The next stage is development. Now, if you've been listening and if you've been paying attention, your prospect will have told you everything that they need. They will have told you what their objections are. They will have told you what their challenges are, what their stucks are, what their needs are, what their likes and their dislikes are. And this is where you turn it all around. I heard you say this. Now I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to give you the solution to your problem. This is where you talk about the features and the benefits of your products and your services. And I'm not talking about this jacket has this really cool new shiny zipper. You want to start talking about how this zipper is the newest thing. It never tangles, it never breaks, and it works even in sub-zero temperature and in 120 temperatures or whatever that is. So you want to talk about the key features and benefits based on what your prospect just told you. So this is where you have to know your products. You have to know your options. You have to know the available solutions. And I say that because if you've been listening, you will know that, again, this prospect doesn't have enough money for our high-level product, but I know that they have enough money for our mid-level. So I'm going to get you started with this product. We're going to get you going on the road to success. You're going to start experiencing success, start generating more revenue, and then we'll come back and start talking about how we can help you even more. Make sense? So based on what your prospect tells you, this is where you give them the information and lead them down that path. They've told you what they need. Now you tell them how you're going to help them with their needs. If you've been listening, you've heard the objections. Now, good salespeople know how to handle objections, but great salespeople know how to address the objections before they even come up. I can't tell you, probably, I'm guessing 8 out of 10 times, money is going to be an objection for many of us professional salespeople and business owners. How many times have you heard from your prospects that I don't have the money? That's too much money, or I don't have enough. Okay, well, what exactly does that mean? If money were not an issue, would you still be ready to move forward today? Did I hear this? What did I hear? I'm going to work into my conversation pre-framing that objection about money. For example, you know what, one of our clients a couple months ago that we were working with actually had that same problem where he was struggling with generating revenue. We got him started with our silver program. Within 90 days, he was already experiencing new results. He was already generating X amount of additional revenue, and now he's doing this. So you can pre-frame that objection, right, by laying out a story, by talking about a testimony. You want to be generous with your time. After all, you are coming from a place of service. You really care about your prospects. You really want them to be successful. But you want to also recognize how can you best help your prospect. There's the right fit, and then there's not. I urge you and invite you to be honest with yourself and with your prospect. Maybe this isn't the right time for them. Maybe they need to go out and handle some things before they can come back and work with you. Maybe they will never be the right fit for your company. Maybe you just don't want them as a client. There are clients, I think that every business has had a client or two that they either wanted to fire or that they did fire. So maybe this is the right time for you to evaluate, do we want them as a client? So just be honest. Take a good look at that prospect and make sure that they are the right fit. Are you really going to be able to help them? Or are you going to take their money and not really be able to help them because they never were the right fit for you to begin with, right? Okay, so now let's talk about integrating that. Best practices. How do I integrate this into my scripting? So again, it comes from knowing your products. Whoops. It comes from from knowing your objections. Know what they are, how to address them. All of the objections. Salespeople, again, good salespeople know how to address objections. Great salespeople know how to work them into the conversation and how to override them. Story sell. I work with all of my clients in building a story or a testimonial book. One of the companies that I used to sell for, I actually had a 3-ring binder, and I would have the little tabs on it that would tell me these are for this. I would have whatever stuck or challenged that my prospect would tell me, and when I heard that, I would go to my testimonial book and flip that section over and use one of my stories or testimonials based on that objection. Excuse me, I was organized, so I knew what story or testimonial would help me bridge that objection, how to get over that and move on to the next piece. You want to be prepared with the appropriate options, alternatives, and referrals. Again, what if this client is not the right fit for you? But how can you help them? Maybe you can send them to YouTube to watch some videos that can help them get the education that they need. Maybe you can offer them some free things that you have, and you might even refer them to one of your competitors or to another company that you work with. Again, you want to come from a place of service. We are really about helping our clients the best that we can, however that is. I might not be the best fit for you, but I know somebody that can. I know somebody that can help you. And again, it's about being organized and having your systems. For this piece of your sales process, your scripting becomes even more critical, because you want to make sure that you are telling them everything that your prospect needs to make an informed decision, because this is the part that they're going to remember when they get off the phone, when they leave that appointment, when they're trying to make their decision. This part of your script are the pieces that they're going to remember the most. All right, the next piece. The agreements in closing. Be clear with your offer. Does it give your prospects what they asked for? If your prospects asked for, let's say that they want a green ball, but you're offering them a yellow ball. Well, they didn't ask for yellow. They wanted a green. So are you giving them what they asked for? Does it really address their needs, or does it address what you think they need? Did you even really ask for the sale? I've worked with many salespeople and training them, and it amazes me how many of them fail to ask for the sale. I don't know if it's nerves, if they think they did, but maybe they didn't. I think that some people really just get too nervous when it comes to asking for the sale. So make sure that you practice that with your teddy bear or whatever system works for you. Practice asking for the sale. Are you ready to move forward today? Are you ready to sign the contract today? Would you like to pay for this with credit card or with a check? What works best for you? Ask for the sale. Make sure you ask for the sale. Is your agreements, is your offer, is your proposal, is it written or verbal? Is it professional? Is it are you bottom lining it? Are you saying what you need to say? Are the next steps clearly outlined? I've seen a lot of proposals. I've seen a lot of offers go out to people. There's no phone number on there, no email, no anything that tells me click here and go here to do this. Everything that you, I would say almost every written something that you give to your prospects when you're in your sales process should have a clearly marked call to action. What is it that they want to do? Where is it that they need to go? All right, whoops. Are we good? Next. What does that mean for scripting? Nobody likes a scripted close. Recognize the learning curve. Recognize that your first couple of conversations are going to, you're going to stammer, you're going to stutter, you're going to wish you had said something, you're going to wish you had used a different phrase, some different words. Just recognize it's a learning curve. Recognize those first 2 or 3 conversations you might have to just write off and try again. Your objections and your decision makers can change on you at any part of during the process, and you might have to listen, ask more questions to move forward. Pay attention. Follow up, follow up, follow up. One of my mentors used to say, follow up, follow up, follow up until they buy or die. I've kind of changed that. Paul and I say until they buy or say no. And I think, are your contracts ready? Make sure that your contracts are ready. Make sure that you've made any appropriate introductions to your customer service or your billing or whatever individuals on the team are going to work with your clients and your prospects once this agreement process has complete. Don't just leave them in the dark, or you might find that that check that they give you has a stop payment on it. Okay, moving on. I think that's it. Referrals. I think I've talked too long, Paul. Referrals. Recognize the value of your referrals. Any compliment and all compliments are a good thing. Timing is everything. My mom used to say, don't jump the gun. So I would not ask for a referral if you've got somebody on the phone who is kind of antsy or is not happy with you. Make sure that you recognize that you're asking for referrals at the right time. You want to nurture your client and your lead base. Again, I've worked with individuals and have had them in my database for 2 or 3 years, and all of a sudden I get a call. I've been watching you, listening, now I'm ready to move forward. So recognize that it is about relationships. Relationships are long-term, not a couple of days and then and forget about them. Follow their success for their future testimonials. Those future testimonials today can be added to your scripts tomorrow. Those become part of your story and your testimonial books, right? Use your systems to track your next steps. Put in your database that you want to call this person within 6 months. Put a tag, trigger, whatever that is, so that you don't forget to follow up with these individuals. Make the process of referrals easy. Be very specific about the kind of testimonials or referrals that you want. What verbiage are you looking for? What skill are you looking to be reinforced? Possibly provide simple scripts or sample scripts for your testimonial. Maybe you even want to write the testimonial for them and have them approve it and get it back to you. Just make sure you give them enough details to get the best referral that you can get and make it as easy for them as possible. Some final tips. Scripts are tools. They provide a support system. And I'll tell you that even pros rely on scripts now and then. Managers can use scripts to maintain quality control and consistency. They can use them for training uses. Sometimes as a manager, we want to make sure that our sales team are saying the right things, that they're not leaving anything out, that they are in tune or in line with our overall vision and mission. Are they saying what I want them to say? Sales teams can use scripts to maintain control of the call. They can use them as a checklist. Scripts can be useful. Just have it there. Just make it yours. Be authentic. Let the script guide you. Doesn't mean to recreate the wheel. Success leaves clues. So when you are working on your script, check with your sales team. Check with the other individuals in your company or with partners. What are they saying? You want to watch for those subtle variations in words and phrases that can have tremendous impacts on your results. Sometimes good and sometimes bad. So pay attention to those subtle variations. And when you're in certain industries like the financial and other industries where verbiage is so important, those subtle variations can either keep you out of trouble or get you into trouble. So make sure you know what you're saying. You don't know what you don't know. Recognize that there's a whole lot out there that we don't know. So share and learn with your team. I find that the most successful salespeople are always chatting and talking with other salespeople. Find out what they're saying, how they're saying it, what's working and what's not working. And that's it. Our agenda for today, we talked about scripts and how they were just a starting point for your sales conversations. We talked about the sales circle, the trust and rapport, the discovery, the qualification, the development, the agreement and closing, and the referral process. And we talked about some final tips for success. Some homework for you. Get your team together and review your scripts. What's working and what's not for you? What can be improved? What needs to be upgraded? What needs to be removed? Does your scripting reflect your company's culture and overall messaging? And what in the process can be automated? What can be systemized? And what needs to be automated or systemized? Not everything needs to be automated or systemized. So take a look at that and make sure that you are automating and systemizing what will work for you and don't with what won't. I think it's time for open Q&A, Paul. Are you still there?
I am still here. I put myself on mute just to make sure the background noise wasn't tremendous, and guess I'll share my webcam again here as well. I didn't want to be distracting while you did the presentation. Thanks a lot. You did a great presentation today. I appreciate it on sales scripting, as I know our audience did as well. We're going to move into the questions and answers and coaching here in just a minute. I want you to tell us what your biggest takeaways are and insights from the presentation, and ask any questions that you have on the comment yourself and on the presentation itself, and tell me what you're going to focus on. Here at the Hoyt Management Group, we have a wide variety of support services, from teaching you how to do it with our education and training and professional and personal development programs, to doing it with you for business plans, financial models, strategic plans, etc. And in some cases, we do it for you. We'd love to talk to you about how we can assist you with your sales scripting needs in a collaborative fashion to help you get the scripts that are just right for you. As a reminder, a week from Wednesday, we're going to have another Awakened CEO conversation with a special guest. That's on Wednesday, July the 22nd at 6 p.m. Watch your emails for sign-up information. And our next office hours will be next Monday, July the 20th, when I'll talk about the book, The Illusions of Entrepreneurship by Scott Shane. It's really a great book. I know that you will enjoy the conversation. And as always, let me know what topics you would like for us to address by going to paulsurvey.com and filling out a little form there. And in between now and the time that we meet again, which hopefully we will be next Monday, do your homework. And now we're going to go into open Q&A and coaching. And yes, we did have some good coaching in today's call. So some questions for today's show. So I'm going to ask some of those questions right away. First of all, Stephanie, you talked about making the script your own, and at one point in time you talked about nobody wants a scripted close. How do I create a script and make it sound like it's not a script?
Good question. I say practice. And again, just recognize that there is always a learning curve when working with scripts. And I find, and I tell my team and I tell the people that I trained, just recognize that those first couple conversations are going to be trial and error. You're going to stutter a lot, you're going to mumble, you're going to say the wrong things, you're going to forget to say you'll miss complete huge chunks of a script. It's just the way it is. It just takes practice, but recognize that after those first 2 or 3 conversations, it gets easier and easier and easier. And eventually you'll just be able to have a couple of bullets that will help you in keeping on track, if that makes sense.
Thank you. And Stephanie, by the way, we had one of our attendees suggest that whenever I am talking, that they're getting a big echo on their system. And I think the echo is coming from your system. So when you are talking or when you are not talking, put yourself on mute if you would, please. Thank you for that. Which you'll get an opportunity to talk here pretty quickly. Stephanie, here's one more question from our audience. What's the best way to practice my scripts? Still on mute.
I use a teddy bear. I've had my kids listen to me. I practice on my neighbor. I practice on associates. I practice I've practiced with Paul, by the way, a couple of times. Just find anybody that you can who is willing to listen and practice. Even if it's just yourself. Again, that empty chair or whatever has always helped me.
I think that is great. And I also like practicing in front of a mirror, because after a point in time, after the 3rd or 4th or 5th time through the script, depending on how long the script is, you should have it pretty well memorized, and then you can look yourself in the eye and see how you're reacting, and you become much more comfortable. At least that's a good technique that works for me, is practicing in front of a live audience or practicing in front of the mirror. And Stephanie, here's one more kind of a follow-up question. A bonus question for 10 points is, how many times do I need to practice this stuff?
As many times as it takes. Well, typically, if you're a salesperson, you'll be repeating that script more than a couple of times. So I think, I practice maybe 2 or 3 times. If you practice too much more than that without actually having somebody on the other end who, for that live interaction, sometimes it can hurt more than help. So just get out there, practice a couple of times, and then get out there and start having your conversations. Just get out there and do it. No, this is not the time for, what's that phrase, analysis paralysis, Paul, as you've said? This is the time to to practice it a couple of times and get out there and practice it for real. That's the best.
Yeah, and I'll answer that a slightly different way. I think it depends on you. First of all, at some point in time, you have to get out there and practice your sales scripts. You have to pick up the phone and make the call. But there are some of us, and I'll put myself square in this category, that really love rehearsal. Because as many of you know, that one of my hobbies is being a singer, and I know that rehearsing, if you're in a stage play or an opera or you're doing a show of some kind, that rehearsing can be extremely valuable. So I'm a person who believes in a lot of rehearsal. And I often tell people that once you say something 30 or 40 times, look yourself in the eye in front of a mirror and say it 30 or 40 times, it really goes from your head to your heart. And then you can start playing with it, and it doesn't sound like it's rehearsed at all, even though you have said it so many times that it just becomes very genuine and very, very authentic to you. And I have, somebody just typed into the window, sing for us. I will do that at some point in time. Most everybody knows that I'll sing at the drop of the hat, but just not today, because we have 1:02, 2 minutes after the top of the hour. So I'm going to bring our office hours presentation to a conclusion for today. I want to give a big special thanks out to Stephanie, who created the presentation and delivered this extremely valuable presentation on sales scripting. If there's anything that we can do for you to help you determine what your sales scripts are at each stage in the sales process, please pick up the phone and give us a call. We'd be happy to help you, happy to talk to you about how we can support you in the growth of your business. And on behalf of Stephanie May, until we talk again next week, this is Paul Hoyt wishing you a most marvelous and prosperous day. Bye-bye.